This is very an inauspicious beginning, forgive me, but I recently had a new novella come out. It's called Kill Your Darling, and it's with Bad Hand Books, and it just came out, I think last week, so it's very new. This is my pitch. If you enjoy this, I have a bunch for sale over there in the room, so help me with gas money. But it's, this is, I'm just going to read the first chapter. It is, I don't know, I've never read this out loud, so I hope. Here we go. They wrapped a whole roll of duct tape around his head. They really layered him up good and thick, all the way down to the cardboard spool. Whoever suffocated my son sealed him inside his own pressure-sensitive shell. No light, no sound. Sure as hell wasn't any air. Billy would have been breathing in polyurethane for those last few minutes of his life. The thrum of his own jackrabbit heartbeat pounding against his eardrums. His eyelids were glued against the adhesive side of the tape. Couldn't blink without pulling his eyelashes out. Soaked in his own sweat. Just trapped in that skull-sized sauna. The surface of the tape bubbled with each muffled scream. Nothing but these pockets of trapped carbon dioxide blistering around his head, pulsing in odd spots. Every exhale was looking for an escape, not finding one. But here's the real kicker. Across the surface, directly over top of Billy's own eyes, were two black circles. Whoever did this to him pulled out the permanent marker and laced the taped over craters of Billy's sockets with a pair of uneven eyes. Cartoon things, really. The left circle was larger than the right. No irises, no retinas, just two sloppy, lopsided ovals staring blankly out at nothing. A child's drawing on my 15-year-old son. How do you stop seeing these things, huh? No, I want to know. I am asking here, really. I can't stop myself from dwelling on maximum adhesion all the time. All-weather durability, super flexibility, high tensile strength for a long-lasting hold. Whenever I'm at the hardware store, I'm comparing brands just to see if I can figure out which kind they used on my boy. Would these bastards pick up the standard brand? Or would they save a few cents and use a knockoff? I want to believe that they'd only use the best for Billy. I keep hearing that high-pitched squeal of tape peeling off of the roll, only it doesn't stop. It's on a permanent loop now, yard after yard winding around his head. We are talking every day for 40 years now. For 40 years. Let that thought settle in for a second. 40 goddamn years. It's a surprisingly sly sound, huh? Fabric ripping, curtains tearing at my back, shirts splitting at the seams. Follows me around wherever I go. I can hear it just about anywhere, over my shoulder, at the grocery store, in the neighboring aisle. At night, I will close my eyes, only a few breaths away from finally drifting off. And there it is, just waiting for me. The shrill zip tearing away from the rest of the roll. And when my eyes bolt open, I expect to see the adhesive side of a silver strip coming my way, blacking out my vision. But there's nothing there. Nobody's leaning over my bed. There's nothing. How can I stop myself from seeing these things in my sleep? How can I stop seeing that silver gray moon orbiting my son's cranium, making its rotations like his head is its own planet, round and round and round and round? You gotta figure a guy can get a solid 20 or 30 revolutions around somebody's head from just one roll before it's all unspooled. Guess again, it's 38. It took 38 laps around my son's skull, 38 spins around the sun before hitting cardboard. Ain't nothing getting through that. Rather than unwrap the duct tape from his head, the medical examiner had to take his surgical scissors and cut through the bloody clump in 2 separate spots. Snip, snip, one behind each ear. He tugged the 2 collapsible halves apart like my son was a pistachio nut. Hey, your first simile. I can hear my workshop instructor congratulating me. When I asked him what the hell a simile was, he explained to me that it makes the object that you are writing about more vivid for the reader. They can see it better in their mind. Oh, is that so? Oh, okay. That last layer of tape kept its grip on my son's skin. The coroner had to peel it off just to reach his face, his swollen cheeks, his purpled eyelids like bruised fruit, a pummeled orange. Is that what you want to see? Feels pretty vivid to me. And there's plenty more where that came from. I am swimming in similes. I can't stop myself from seeing them now, all around me, hearing them wherever I go. They are everywhere now. Every story worth its salt begins with a solid hook. Oh, thank you. So saith our writing workshop instructor from the get-go. You gotta grab the reader's attention from the very first sentence he told our class on day number 1. Don't ever let them go. There's this thin bedding of blonde hair clinging to the adhesive side. Plucked a couple of eyelashes out, but I already told you that. I'm sorry. I saw for myself when I got called in to identify his body. My boy's body. My son. The tape hadn't been placed into evidence yet, just lying there on a metal tray by the examination table. The asphyxiating shell had retained the shape of his head, a silver gray mask of my son. These are the thoughts I had, looking at him, continue to have. These are the kind of thoughts that don't ever go away. They never go away. 40 years, huh? I am haunted by duct tape, silver gray ghosts. In the morgue, I ran my finger down the tacky side of the tape. That was a big no-no. What's that called? I'm a writer now. I should know these things, right? Devil's in the details, huh? Yeah, I need to do my research. What is it? Tampering with evidence? Huh? Corrupting a DNA sample? I don't know, but I needed to feel the downiness of his uprooted hair, the hair that had got caught in the duct tape tugged up from his scalp when they pried that mask off of him. That softness. His hair across my fingertips, and there it was. Just like it was yesterday, a wave just crashing over me. It's Billy's first haircut. I had taken him to the barber shop just before his second birthday. The barber helped him up into the chair, giving him a booster seat and wrapping an apron around his neck. Just stuffed the tissue paper around his throat. Got clipping. Snip. Snip.
Billy wouldn't stop wailing. His face just purpled up from all of the crying. Every time those scissors came near his ears, his shoulders would pop up to just block them. And I mean, it's a miracle that the barber made it through without any defensive wounds, right? Billy's head was so small. It was barely even a grapefruit back then. It was just a boy. Always a boy. Never a man. I remember eyeing the linoleum around the barber chair, and I watched bits of his blonde hair just fall to the floor. I mean, they just drifted so slowly. It's just like this golden snow flurry, right? And I went ahead and I leaned over and I pinched a loose lock from the floor, keepsake for my family scrapbook, right? The book of Billy. His life mounted on construction paper, complete with a burgundy red faux leatherette cover and gold stamping. With every pivotal moment of his life was sealed safely behind cellophane. Billy's birth certificate, Billy's footprint, Billy's first day back at home from the hospital, Billy's first pony ride, Billy's first Halloween, Billy's first birthday, Billy's first tooth, Billy's first Christmas. And I taped the lock of his hair to the page and wrote right below it, Billy's first haircut, 1975. Flip to the first page, and you could see for yourself. It's a little sprig of wheat, dried out after all of these years. The tape still has its grip, though. It won't let go. How's that for a hook, huh?